Hello everyone and welcome back to Satisfactory. In the last episode, we found out the importance of our endeavors when we made the space elevator to save humanity. But in this episode, we're going to have to hit the ground running. Ouch! Because we need to make smart plating to complete phase 1 of the space elevator. And I plan on getting that done first thing. Saving humanity has to be our #1 thing to do, as well as sliding down ramps. As well, in this episode, we're going to try to get our power situation fixed with coal power as soon as possible, but that doesn't come in till later phases. So first things first, we need the part assembly, and the reason is that's the only way we're going to get these smart plating up and running. We need the assembler to manufacture the smart plating so that we can feed it into the space elevator. So we'll go ahead and select that milestone, and we'll put in as many things as we currently have in our pockets, and then I'll go and get the rest. And now with all of our items, we'll go ahead and launch the rocket.
Milestone reached. The assembler can produce more complex parts, including the first project part, smart plating, which is crucial for initiating project assembly. Project parts must be delivered to the space elevator. By completing your contracted duties as part of project assembly, you will definitely be helping achieve Fix-It company goals without any other ulterior motive. Note: humans cannot craft project parts. Do not worry about your inadequate crafting skill when compared to an assembler. Fix-It cherishes your innate human abilities, such as walking, striking objects, and commodifying natural resources.
80. You're still not helping. Okay, so to make the smart plating, we're going to need a couple different assemblers here. We're going to need one to make reinforced iron plates, which is going to have to use the screw recipe. I know, I'm not happy about it either. The second one is going to be the rotors, and also those guys need screws as well. Again, I know, I'm not happy about it either. But the good thing is that we went ahead and manufactured quite a few screws in the last episode. And it's because Mr. Addo here, he was planning ahead. I knew I would need a ton of screws, which it seemed like a lot of screws for me to make, but until we get some alternative recipes, well, there's no luck in making better plates or rotors. So in the meantime, we'll just go ahead and plop down an assembler here, and we'll have 2 assemblers on either side of it. And one will be making the rotors and going straight in, and then one will be making reinforced iron plates. Now, the other thing I'd like to try to do is come over here and just make a few iron plates for myself. I don't know, we'll probably place it somewhere here with a storage crate next to it in this area. But until we really get this working hard, I don't know how fast it will be. It could take a lot of time, and that's something I'm not really looking forward to. The numbers are pretty good. I mean, it doesn't take much of each of these, and I'm pretty sure that we'll have some extra in the background. It only takes 2 reinforced iron plate a minute, and it only takes 2 rotors a minute to make 2 smart plating. That's pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio. That's actually really awesome. But the iron rods and the screws, I mean 100, we don't even have a belt that can handle that yet. So that's kind of the first order of business, but you need reinforced iron plates for Mark II belts. So Logistics Mark II, that kind of seems like it's going to be high on the priority list, and we'll go ahead and select that milestone. That way we know what we need to get to make those. And I think just getting some iron plates going first off, well, that's going to be #1. So I'll probably just snake some across here and into this, as well as I'll snake a belt all the way from our screw area over here up and across and into that sucker, and we'll store them up on the edge like I said. Same thing goes for here. I'll probably run a couple of belts down and into this here just to get things off and running, and because of that beautiful straighting that we have, we can make this look really nice. This will be for screws, and then this one also, it'll be for screws as well. And then it'll just scoot down towards the screws as well. As far as iron rods and plates, well, we'll probably just go overhead with those as well. Maybe make a Mark I conveyor lift that goes like so, and this, I don't know. I'll kind of figure it out as I go along. Just snake some belts here and there. It'll be kind of a mishmash, but I'll make it as organized as possible. It definitely won't look like this. And just like that, in no time, it's all set up, and it looks like a true factory logistics floor. We have our plates coming across and up and over the top like so, and I just skated off a few of these rods from over here. It was already producing too much as it was, and I don't really need a bunch of them, so I just stole a few and made it down into rotor production right here. And it's getting plenty of screws as it is right now, but I have hand supplied a few of them myself. The same goes for the reinforced iron plates. They seem to be getting about 80% production, and that's plenty enough for me. And we've been very busy getting 44 of them already. While I was building this, I decided I was going to get a few more items from the hub. Field research, which gave us the object scanner and the yes ma'am, the resource sink, so that we can have the awesome shop, so awesome. And the Mark II logistics, that way we can start getting those stackable conveyor poles and the Mark II belts. And so with all of those things, I decided to go ahead and put the awesome sink over here. That way we can get our coupons as fast as we can. I gotta unlock some stuff. And screws seemed like the most logical thing, seeing as how there's so many of them. I'm producing quite a few of them. But now it's time to unlock the next tier. And, oh baby, I'm excited. We're gonna get that coal power plant up and running. Oh, it's gonna be glorious. That is definitely the next thing on the agenda. So let's load them in, seal the deal.
Welcome to the Project Assembly Pioneer
Oh
progress
my.
presentation.
All right, I love
Congratulations.
presentations.
The Phase 1 project part shipment is now ready for delivery. On delivery, Phase 1 will be completed and the distribution platform will be constructed. After completion of Phase 1, the technologies of Tiers 3
Automated
and 4 will become
power.
available in the
Oh yeah.
Highlights are automated
Personal
power,
transportation.
steel production,
I'm
personnel
happy.
transportation, and
I'm
more.
happy.
Completing Phase 2 of Project Assembly is your
Oh,
next main
boy.
objective. New project parts
Automated
will need to be produced
wiring.
and delivered to the space elevator as you have done previously.
Okay.
Continue to construct, automate, explore, and exploit for a better Fix-It future.
That all sounds great. Well, let's send it off and see what it looks like. I can't wait to see what this is going to do. We're not going to see anything through the clouds. Oh my gosh. What the? Oh my gosh. That is some very, very intelligent plating, I'm telling you. That is awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Wow. And you can even see little like things running inside of it. Awesome. Completely amazing.
Phase 1 of Project Assembly completed. This is only the beginning of Project Assembly, the first step towards saving the day. You have performed adequately so far. Reminder, not only is Fix-It saving humanity, it is saving all of Earth, including kittens and puppies.
Kittens and
It is
puppies?
statistically likely that you appreciate the continued existence of kittens and/or puppies. Continue the work for their sake. Continue the work for Fix-It. It is time to start the work on Phase 2 of Project Assembly.
But first, power. Coal power. And if I remember correctly, water extractors, they need reinforced iron plates, and we need that to definitely unlock this. We don't have enough of anything currently. So to solve our reinforced iron plate problem, what I've done is gone ahead and set up the whole system right here. It's got screws coming to it, it's got everything, and we're using those two impure nodes that we weren't using before. I figured I'd just dedicate something to this reinforced iron plate, as they're so important and difficult to make. But the last thing that we have to do is make sure that we get our iron rods turned into iron screws. And I would probably behoove myself to go ahead and hook power up to that and get it all rocking and rolling. I decided not to steal any more screws, as we're pretty much using everything we've got just to make those rotors and everything else. And I'd like to save up a few rotors if I can. I believe that the water extractors also need rotors. So we'll kind of have to let this thing play in the background and hopefully get everything that we could possibly need. I'll still continue to sink some of the screws, that way we can continue to make our coupons. I want to buy the concrete foundations. That power plant has got to be built on concrete. But while we let this just kind of build up in the background and get into the places it's supposed to be, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of exploration. Go and see if we can't find some hard drives and some slugs and other things that we could find very useful. I'm sure it'll be rough on us, but we were 2 days without incident, so that's the full time I've been playing. I don't think I've died yet. Famous last words. But before we head off, I went ahead and got as many things researched in the MAM as possible. So we went ahead and got all of our spitters and things of that nature, because I had to fend a few of them off already once and twice. Yeah, it was scary, which allowed us to get the rebar gun, and that's going to come in real handy. I also had found some Caterium in the background, and that allowed us to get the Caterium nuggets and get into quick-wire and all those kinds of things. We were also able to do the pallberries, nuts, and bacon because I had gathered some, and that got us our nutritional processor, which allows us to heal. A few of the power slugs I had found and researched them so that now the scanner can actually find them. The good thing about drop pods is you can find quite a bit of handy items for the early game. Those items sometimes unlocks the things that you need for a hard drive, as well as take out the local wildlife. I hate the flies. The flies are the worst, because you swat all you want, but you never can get all of them.
Look through the window and witness a threat.
But once they're taken care of, the Mercer Sphere is mine. And after a lot of exploring, we came back with a pretty decent haul. That's 8 hard drives, 4 Mercer Spheres, and 3 summer sloops, and lots of power slugs. That's pretty good. We also found ourselves some quartz and some sulfur. I think that's a pretty good haul all the way around. But the one bad thing is we came back to a completely dead factory. And that made me realize something. I want some pants. Now, if I remember correctly, the Blade Runners are here in the quartz, and from there we just need some silica and some heavy modular frames. That shouldn't be too hard. I'm ready to start that research for sure. Very good. Blade Runners will really help.
Blade Runners unlocked. Equipped to run faster, jump with greater force, and decrease fall damage that might otherwise have lowered your value to fix it.
So we just need to handcraft a few things to go ahead and get those Blade Runners up and running. And then we'll go and tackle some of those leaves and bushes that we need. Oh, pants. Glorious pants. So much better. Ugh, this is going to be the cat's pajamas. And now, we jump higher, we run faster, and we'll chainsaw things much quicker. And after a massive deforestation up there on that ridge, we're back and up and running. The factory lives, and the factory gives. So much better. Look at all those reinforced iron plates. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Now, one of the things we are going to have to do is we're going to have to steal a few of these rotors, and the only reason I say steal is because we're going to need them for a lot of different things. We want a good 200 of them if we can help it. The water pumps definitely need that, and we'll probably even need to make some copper plating. So I'm going to probably manufacture some copper plating right here. We'll steal an extra line off of something out there. There's plenty of copper around. But really what I want to get doing is the coal power plant. Load it up and launch it. Coal power unlocked.
Milestone reached. Power production can now be fully automated by burning coal, which has been added to the resource scanner. Water is also necessary to run the coal-powered generator and will require a network of pipelines to be transported from a water source. To assist with locating and identifying water, Fixit has compiled this guide. Water is a somewhat reflective liquid and it may have thick vegetation growing nearby. To test if something is water, try touching it. If it is not solid and does not corrode your suit, it is probably water.
That makes a lot of sense. Touching it seems a little dangerous. Now, we have been sinking as much as we possibly can, and I want these tickets because I can't build a coal power plant without concrete. concrete is everything. Building with concrete seems to be the best idea ever. We have 13 tickets. I want to go ahead and spend a few of those right here in the Customizer tab. And we'll go ahead and get the concrete foundations and buy that for sure. Fantastic. Now we can build with concrete. And that is super duper important because no more need for iron plates, only concrete. Oh yeah. Now where are we going to go for a coal power plant? Well, the same place everybody goes when they're in this area. Over in that direction, 1,000 meters away. And now that we have our blade runners building over there, it's going to be a lot easier. So I'm going to trek back and forth a little bit and gather up some supplies to put out there. And I think that we'll do as much as we can to get a simple yet basic power plant up and running. Oh, concrete, my old friend, how I've missed you. It's so much better to build with concrete. But anyways, we have all of our miners way over there collecting the coal and sending it down. We'll have 3 lines coming in, and it's pretty basic. It'll just be right up here and it's up and going. Now, I did kind of build this with a little bit of a curve to give it some character. I have no idea how long this will be here. We may add to it, we may take away from it. We'll see in the future. Future Addo will have to figure that out. But for now, we'll have 3 lines of 60 coming in just because we have Mark 1 miners. And I'll try to set this up the best way I can to be able to have double the power production coming out of this. But this is our basic setup, and it's an overflow system. I'm just looking to get this thing up and running, not anything fancy. We'll have to have some biomass burners over here, probably in this corner, to get this thing kicked off. I don't know how much power exactly I need, but we'll need a lot. And over here, we'll just be pulling out all the water. Now, you might look down there and say, oh my gosh, Addo, you put a bunch of foundations under the water. Well, yes, I did. The reason is, a long time ago, I saw a tip from a YouTuber that said that you can set these on here and it snaps to the grid and it makes lining these things up way easier. And they're not wrong. Once you get the first one in the place that you want it, you can click it down and all of this can just go away. And then you use the naturals thing in the game to line them up how you want. And you can put several all the way down here. So that's what we're going to do. Probably 2 strips of 4 like so, and I'll have 4 lines of water coming across here and up here and boom, into the coal power plants. Pretty simple design. The coal power is probably the easiest power to set up next to biomass burners. But with biomass burners, it requires constructors and other things. So this is your real first step into easy and permanent production of power. Water, coal, power plant. Dunzo. Now, the worst thing about setting up this initial coal power plant is making sure that you line up all of your pipes in a very straight and very nice way because they don't have the same feature as the belts do. So the idea is that these can hold 300 water, and each of these put out, I think, 120 without a power shard in them. So that means that even with 2 of these connected here, it's not going to fill up a pipe, but that's okay because our 4 coal power plants don't actually take too much. But for now, what I plan on doing is just setting all this up, getting it how I want it, and then I will probably put all the piping in as soon as I get all these guys where they're supposed to be. And I'm not 100% sure exactly how I'm going to do it, but it kind of comes to me as I build. I'll probably have it come across here and up the side of that wall. I'll leave a little bit of space in case in the future we want to add more water extraction, but I'm not really sure exactly where I'm going to come up. I feel like this is the spot. So we'll need power as well. Yeah, I think we just need to get some things going and see how we feel about it. So I think it's time for another pop. And there it is. Lots of power being produced. We have 3 sets of coal generators rocking and rolling, putting out as much power as they possibly can. Let's go down there and check out the handiwork. And down here, all of the water extractors are working as hard as they possibly can as well. They're kicking on and off sometimes. They don't need all that water just yet, and 2 of them aren't even going even though I've got them hooked up. And the pumps are doing really good. They don't have the need too much for that head lift. We're well within the parameters of it. I did end up bringing them up really high. That way we could have a nice fall with gravity, because things go down really easy in pipes. Going up, not the same. Not the same at all. We did do a little bit of load balancing to get things kicked off at the beginning. I decided to split these things off into 2s and 3s, and it worked out. Since we have 4 generators, we have 4 splits coming off of this. So the coal line goes into 1, splits into 2, splits into 2 more, equaling out the 4 different lines. I don't know, kind of nice. I did it on each of these so that way we could get all the coal generators rocking and rolling right off the bat. And boy oh boy, am I glad I had my Blade Runners for this, because good lord, jumping on top of those was so much easier than it was at the beginning of the game. Blade Runners, they're the best. But that's basically brought our capacity up to 1500 megawatts, a very decent amount for the beginning of the game. I'll go ahead and leave all these biomass burners here just because there's no need to really take it down just yet. I plan on expanding this power plant and redesigning it in the near future once we get Mark II miners. I'll leave these crates here just because I don't want to take all that stuff back. It just is quite a trek to get all the way over there. But that leads us to our next order of business. And what might that be? Well, that will be steel. Steel is the next order of business. To get our automated wiring and our next piece of the space elevator built, we need lots of steel. We're not going to be able to get too much at the beginning here, but we'll get off to a good start. Now, there is a coal node, I believe, somewhere over here, and if I'm not mistaken, it is pure. The map does allow us to see the purity of each of the nodes once we search for them. The next thing that we'll need is iron, and we'll have to look for iron in other places. Our initial iron sources are already depleted, so we'll have to go a little bit far for these, but unfortunately, there's not very many normal ones, and that's what we need. So we'll probably go over here and grab these, maybe grab these at the same time. To get our copper sheet production up and rolling, I went ahead and went way over there and got some copper. I also went that way and got it from that source there. But these things are just laying on the ground. I think it's time to get ourselves a belt highway going. So since I'll be bringing it up from over here, I'm thinking about putting it right here behind the space elevator. And that means one thing. These foundations, they gotta go. And the reason is I'm going to brick in all this space here. We're just gonna brick in all of the stuff that's around the space elevator and give it kind of a jagged look. I don't really know exactly what it's going to look like, but I can tell you that it is going to have some depth and some feel, and they're going to see minimal rocks. I probably won't cover up every little piece of it, but I want to have a platform to bring everything to. So I'll probably go around in any place like here. I'll just zoop everything across and cover up all of this structure here, making it look with a little bit of depth and character. Something to the effect of this. If it covers it up, it'll stay. If it doesn't, then I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, just like that. And when we get the angled pieces, we can give it a little bit more character in the future. But that's not important right now. What's important is our belt highway is complete. So we got all the coal and iron over here that we're going to use. That's 3 loads of 60 iron and 1 load of 60 coal. That should get us a pretty good start on our steel production. It probably won't give us very much coal, but we'll do the best we can with what we've got. Now, to get our foundries up and running, we need some heavy modular frames and some rotors. And in the background, I set up an assembler here with some heavy modular frame manufacturing. And we've been able to collect quite a bit of it. Now, we don't need a ton of them for our foundry here, but we're going to try our best to set up a reasonable little setup. We'll probably leave ourselves some space to get some things done, but I think that we can operate with 3 of them. 3 does seem to be the magic number here. We'll probably underclock one of them just so that we can make sure that we use the correct amount of resources. I don't know what that number is just yet, but seeing as how we're getting 260s, we could probably do a 120 belt over here. And I believe that in steel ingots, they use 45 iron ore a minute. So that means that we need somewhere in the range of 90 to run 2, and then whatever the remainder is, we'll do here. From there, I think we'll set up probably 3 constructors, and we'll set 2 of them to the pipes and 1 of them to steel beams. I'll probably use that limestone node that's over there and bring that over here and use that to make the encased industrial beams in the near future. That is, until we get the alternate recipe. All right, so steel production up and running. So we have our coal coming across here, splitting off into there, and all of our steel ingots are coming over here, getting split somewhat evenly across these 3. Now, it is lacking a little bit. It's going to not be at full production. I know it seems like it is. I'm going to need more steel beams more than anything. I feel like that is the next thing on the Mark III belts, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember if it's encased beams or if it was steel beams. I don't know. Either way, we'll need probably more steel beams than steel pipes. In the background, I have been doing quite a bit of research with my hard drives, trying to unlock alternate recipes. Now, a tip that I read somewhere was that if you leave recipes kind of lined up in here, it won't reuse them. And we're looking for specific recipes. One recipe that definitely intrigues me is this alternate iron pipe. That could come in real handy. That's just straight iron ingots into iron pipes. Now, it is a lot of iron ingots, but in a pinch, it could come in real handy. But the one that we are interested in is the steel rotor one. This is the one I was looking for. Steel pipes plus wire equals rotor at 5 per minute. Oh, yes, please. Another one we got was the alternate iron ingot wire. That is going to come in real handy as well. That one is kind of one of my favorites, especially if you're in a spot where there's not a lot of copper. That doesn't happen very often, but it might. We were also able to unlock the alternate stitched iron plate, and this guy is overpowered. So what we did is come over here and use the alternate iron wire recipe to adjust our reinforced iron plate production so that we can have that stitched iron plate. And we've overclocked it. Yes, I've sacrificed a few power slugs here and there just to get things moving. The big problem though is this is just basic. It is a waiting game right now to make sure that we get all this done. So I'll probably go on a bit more of an adventure. We kind of went to the left side of the map here just for some fun at the very beginning. I plan on trying to explore some other areas and see if we can't find some of that glorious SAM ore. Well, I'm back from my adventure, and I'm going to tell you it was quite the adventure indeed. We were able to find that SAM ore, and I went and gathered a little bit of it. It was way up here on the top of this spire. It was difficult to get to. I know there's an easier location, but I figured this would be a little bit challenging to get to and a little bit of fun and safer. But I was wrong. I think over here on this plateau, there were nuclear hogs, and they hurt. They hurt real bad. But I survived. I think I only died once. But while we were adventuring, we were able to get a full bin of steel pipes, and we started making some encased industrial beams, because we need those for an unlock, as well as we have a pretty decent supply of steel beams. At the same time, I went and gathered up a sulfur node, and it's way over there. That one way in the corner. It's forever away. But it's okay. We brought that back because we needed nobelisks. Oh man. Who needs to have a chainsaw when you have bombs? Nice. Right, Mr. Bean? Yeah, you know it's awesome. But with all of that done, we're ready for Logistics Mark III, so let's launch it. Now, when I brought the SAM ore back, I was able to go down the tech tree quite a bit, making our reanimated SAM and the SAM fluctuators. We need to start manufacturing those so that we can, advance ourselves into the tech tree. We'll need that in Mercer spheres to get the dimensional depot, and I went ahead and used a summer sloop to go ahead and get the alien energy harnessing. But what I really want is this right here, the production amplifier. I just wonder if I've got enough of those circuit boards laying around to unlock this, but that's for later. we'll get to that in a little bit. What I really want to do is I want to start making the space elevator parts, just so that we can get those up and running. Our smart plating over there, it's got enough. We have way more than 1,000. I've actually been sinking the extra that we have. I think I want to do the automated wiring and the versatile framework right here. We can just put it right here and have it all go this direction. One reason is it's close to this space elevator, so when I go to load it all up, it'll be easy. The other reason is we have this iron over here. Now, the way we set this up, we kind of blocked one of them, but I'm pretty sure that I can move this down and adjust some things and be able to do some smelting over here. Now, to make the versatile framework, we're going to need heavy modular frames and steel beams, which is something that's fairly easy. To make the automated wiring, we're going to need stators and cable. Now, we're not making too much cable, but I have an idea that I could probably steal some copper from our production of copper sheets, and that'll help us out a lot. We can turn a couple of these over to wire and then turn them into cable if we need to. Then you could steal some cable from over there and bring it across to over here. Yeah, it'll probably be a mess, but it'll be okay. We're just trying to get these done. Once they're complete, all of this production line could go away. We don't really need it. Now, to make the modular frames, we have a couple options, and I really like this recipe. This recipe is pretty easy because it takes the least amount of resources. Now, we're doing pretty good on the steel pipes, but if we're going to need the steel beams from this, we're going to have to pull a lot of steel from our production line over here, and it's not really that big. I'm a little worried about it. Hey, wait a minute. Wasn't there a research in the MAM that might come in handy here? That's right, the alternate iron pipe. This actually might work. We could probably use this instead, and then we don't have to pull from our iron pipe supply, or we can use a little bit of the steel pipe and a little bit of this iron pipe. This would be a good recipe right now. See? Everything has a reason. So it's good that we saved it. So that kind of solves our steel pipe problem, and with the reinforced iron plates, we also can do an assembler for that and do the stitched iron plate. So that just requires wire and iron plating. You know what? This whole production line could actually run straight off of iron, because we have the constructors with the alternate recipe that we could use the iron wire. So that's a lot of iron that we can just straight up make versatile frameworks. Okay. And we can use that to make the stators. To make stators, we need steel pipe and wire, which can also be the iron pipe. Or we can steal steel pipes for this one and use iron pipes on the other one. And then we can use the same iron wire to supply this. All right, I think we kind of have a plan. This isn't going to be as bad as I thought it was. It isn't going to produce a lot, and we'll probably go on another adventure looking for hard drives. But this is a good start. I think we have a plan. So a row of smelters, some constructors, lots of assemblers. It's a production line. You'll be so happy in a minute. I'll feed you all the parts you could ever want. Remembering me saying this was easy? No. Gosh, past Addo. Stop. Don't ever say that again. It wasn't difficult, but it wasn't a cakewalk. Definitely not a cakewalk. For starters, we're just not getting enough steel beams, and I've done everything I can to get as many steel beams going as I possibly can, but we're just not making enough steel, especially with us having nobelisks and everything else coming out of this. But it is getting fed, and it's being fed from underneath. We had enough space that I could belt this disaster and spaghetti up underneath it, and I'm happy about that. I don't really want to look at it ever again. The second thing is we had to steal as much cable from over there as we possibly could, and we just belted that right across here, nice and clean. This is probably the cleanest thing in this entire thing. It worked out the best. But we did have to do quite a mess over here to get enough of that wire coming up and over, because I just wasn't able to get enough iron ingots to supply all of this the way I wanted it to. So we're not making the iron wire. All we're making is the iron plates and the iron pipes. And we're not feeding that enough, because I didn't realize that this thing is going to take 100 per minute. even with 3 smelters going, it's only producing 90, so we're short just a little. I can underclock this because technically I only need 15, so it's not too big a deal that this isn't at maximum capacity because it's feeding enough into it to keep this stator production going. Now this is an overflow system, so it will take a little bit to get the wire in order, but man, that wire, that was a joke. We brought that up and over and barely missed it. I mean, there is a breath between the assembler and that splitter. Ooh, mercy. And for some reason, it just didn't want to hook up right. But it is making everything. We are making the versatile frameworks and the automated wiring. Just not very fast. It's taking forever. So I think it's time that we go on another adventure. Not bad, huh? Yeah, I think I only died twice, and it's been 4 days later. 4 days later. But the spoils of our war have been very fruitful. We have lots of Mercer spheres, and we got computers and turbo motors. Heck yeah, man, we got a lot of good stuff. I think I even found some alclad sheets up there. That's going to be great. All this stuff is going to really come in handy in the MAM. And speaking of the MAM, I think we can go ahead and unlock some of this technology here. We just need to handcraft, unfortunately, some of those alien energy harnessing boxes. Triangles? They're triangles. They're triangles, Addo. They're triangles. But while we were gone, we did end up making quite a few of the versatile frames and the automated wiring. We got enough to get ourselves to the next level with the automated wiring because I read that wrong and I thought it said 1,000. Yeah, we got plenty of those. We are now just sinking anything that gets produced. But really, one of the last things I want to do is I want to go get that SAM from the top of that mountain over there. Why? A, it's a pure node, and I know that there's another one underneath the arch, but it's a normal node, and I want to go and get the challenging one first. Get that pure node all the way to me. So that's what we'll do. I'll probably build a belt highway that goes all the way over here, just because I know there's other resources out this way. There's a few iron nodes and I think another copper and a limestone, and we can bring that back to base to build some bigger things in the near future. But it'll probably come right across here, go up through this valley, and straight back into base. And yeah, it's gonna take a minute, so please hold while we get this done.
2,000 years later.
Well, it took a lot of effort, but we did it, and we're on top of the world. Oh yeah, this is great. So we went ahead and grabbed the SAM ore from here. This pure node is going to be putting out 240 a minute, and we went ahead and took it upon ourselves to put Mark III belts on this. Yeah, it's really moving. I love it. And we put up a little bit of railing for style and OSHA standards. Definitely OSHA standards. But I'm telling you right now, that belt took forever to get all the way back to base. Oh, mercy. Yeah, and I wanted to put this staircase on because it took forever to get all of these things together and down. Yeah, it takes that long. It has to be speeded up. It has to be speeded up. Ugh, you're so lucky that you only had to watch that for like a second. And the fact that I had to like walk it a million times. But anyways, the belts do go all the way across here, and I put a gentle curve into it just because, I don't know, it gave it character and I like it. And then it comes all the way across here and we die. Oh, my knees. Walk it off. Walk it off. And I couldn't just have this platform hanging in the air, so we added a little bit of, design aesthetics to it. It looks great. We also ran the power across the outside of it. That way I wouldn't have a power pole just hanging out around there. And now that we're back at base and we've brought it all here, I just kind of dropped it down into 2 Mark II belts and put it into these constructors, making all the reanimated SAM that we could possibly ever want, which gives us the ability to harvest as much as we can. Yes. We're going to go and make all the little triangle sand that we could possibly triangle. But unfortunately, we have to handcraft this sucker. Yeah, good times. Real good times. And now with over 100 of those crafted and the fact that we found ourselves some circuit boards and lots of summer sloops during our adventure, it's time to unlock the most important and overpowered technology in the game. And I'll show you why in just a second. Now, the reason I say they're overpowered is because if you go down here into the power shards and you've already unlocked this and throw a summer sloop in it, the output multiplier doubles it, meaning that for every blue power slug that you put in, you actually get 2 power shards. That is overpowered. So we've loaded up the power slugs here, and we're just gonna send those guys through. And boom, that is how it's done. Now you can make all the power shards duplicated every single time. Every power slug is valuable. We wasted a few at the very beginning to get some production going, but that is amazing. And it works the same for all of them. So put in a yellow one and you get 4. And if you put in a purple power slug, you don't just get 5, you get 10. 10 power shards. Like I said, the summer sloop production is way overpowered. We are going to go on a major power slug hunt in the very near future. Now, the one bad thing is it does cost you an exponential amount of power. It increases the megawatts it uses to 16. So that's not too bad, but you can use that for anything. It'll duplicate anything. So probably on the end result going forward, when we're making any space elevator parts, to get them in a hurry, we'll probably be duplicating them. But for now, I think that's going to be it for this episode. We have gone way too long. We did get a lot done today, though. We got steel up and running, a coal power plant established, and a pure SAM node all the way back to base. If you did enjoy what you saw today, please don't forget to leave a like and a comment. You could also check out the links in the description if you're looking for ways to support. But as always, the best way to support is to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted of any time any Satisfactory or any other content gets uploaded to the page. Click one of the buttons on the screen right now to see some other stuff we've played, and don't forget to keep gaming for the love of games. Bye now.